Hi there, welcome to another chess24 Banter Blitz. It's 11:30 UK time. Okay, before we get into the games, let's have a look at this amazing voucher code, Kingscrusher. You can get 15% off premium membership. You can challenge even Magnus Carlsen. Welcome to another chess24 Banter Blitz. The World Chess Champion. It's 11:30 UK time. Okay, before we get into the games, and let me just mute that over there. Look at this amazing voucher. So yeah, as I was saying, so Magnus Carlsen, other grandmasters, etc. So you just turn up like 20 to 30 minutes before the Banter Blitz that they're holding, and you go on a challenge list. So it's well worth it, even for just challenging grandmasters, as well as a load of other perks. So that's the voucher code Kingscrusher, 15% off if you go to chess24.com/premium. So check that out. Okay, let's go to the challenges now. And the first challenge today, Dangerous Ride, a 3-minute game. Let's try and play knight c3. I like knight c3 at the moment. It's my fetish. And I like this tango. Especially since I had a good game against even Peter Vidler with this, to a certain extent, recently. So I'm putting this bishop over here, and I'm being cheeky here with bishop d2, as if I'm going to play queen c1, because I am going to play queen c1, and bishop h6 soon. Or use my default rook on this occasion for knight g5. In fact, knight f5 threatens bishop h6. Alright, I'll play this for a moment. Okay. If I played this, does it open up the h file? I just want to open up the h file. I want to play like f3 soon. Okay. If he lets my knight come to e4, I wouldn't mind that either. So, I mean, as an example, HG, knight e3, bishop e3, de, queen e3. I've got this dangerous h file there. So I'm probably looking forward to f6, as an example, g takes queen e4, and then the common square h7 is dangerous. On this occasion, I think I'm just going to put this knight back now for a moment. And still maintain an attacking prospect here with rook h3, rook g3. It's a bit of fun and games. This rook might want to come back in the game though. Alright, here bishop h6 is very tempting. As an example, g takes, queen takes. We'll say knight e3. There's f6. If f6, there's rook h3 to g3, so I think this is exciting for the idea of rook h3 coming up. But with the knight on e4, it also means I'm now supporting f6 in some lines. Okay, so here, okay, I'll take here and try and do a bit of damage. Well, the knight on e4 is very nice. So maybe, okay, maybe f6 is interesting. Or this. Alright, if I just try and play for h6 or queen e1, h4. Well, that's interesting. I'm not sure if I just take like this, though. I'll aim for queen h4 to just get the queens off. And h6 seems handy if I want to double the rooks later. Okay, so he's playing for d3. I'll try and put the brakes on d3. Get this pawn off. I think I've got time for king e2 on d2. And just want to avoid losing pawns. Alright, so I'll just take this guy for a moment. So I'm waiting for that for king e2. Okay, so yeah. Maybe rook c6. Okay. And just in case, you know, maybe rook d8. Well, I can't exactly see a major issue. If I just go to a king and pawn ending here. Alright, thanks. Yeah, it's a fun opening. I'm having great fun with this because it bypasses people's opening theory, and I've accentuated it because I've done a bit of research on the black side. So okay, but this is like just the Vienna game transposition, and we'll play just the Vienna game transposition here. So king h2, f4, f5. Is there knight g4, hg? No, take, knight g4, hg, queen h4. I think that's okay. So I want to play knight g3 and h4 and g5. Okay. I could aim to win my rook, but maybe there's, you know, knight g4, queen g4, knight c2. Yeah, maybe there's knight h5 hitting g7. Okay, so here I'm going to play g5 for f6 coming up. Right, I think I do want to kick this guy away. And this looks sort of thematic to break up the pawns, fragment those pawns, so g takes and knight f5. Okay, that opens up the h file. G takes, knight f6, bishop g5. There's an unpinning with knight g4 though. Alright, here I think I'm tempted to take here to fragment. If bishop g4, bishop f3, I've got f7 as a target coming up on bishop takes, queen takes, f7 as a target. Here I think knight f5 looks a bit juicy. Okay, so I want to play queen h5 and f6. This is like using the h file. Okay, there's f6 here. That sort of wins a piece. I think if I want a piece, do I want more? I probably do want a piece. There's bishop e4 here. Right. Is there queen e4 there? Well, it's not mating or anything, is it? Okay. I think, okay, there's rook h8 there if I win that knight. So maybe, for the moment, king g2. Now I'm threatening queen g4 here. Alright. Yeah, interesting. Thanks. That's interesting. Chess Beast Austria. So knight f3, the Reti. I'll play this fast e5 here. This looks fairly aggressive. Oh. Okay. There's a quick knight g4 sometimes. If he plays another move which is waiting, then knight g4. Let's put this bishop away in advance of b4. I think I want to play castling f4, queen e8, queen h5, bishop g4. In effect, it's a reverse Grand Prix attack strategy. So queen e8, f4, bishop g4, queen h5. So reverse Grand Prix attack. Maybe if he takes here, it's okay, but I would like the option of f4 and bishop g4 soon. Because in fact, man, it looks very dangerous. Bishop g4 looks dangerous. Okay, this looks too dangerous for white. There's rook f6, rook h6. There's knight d4 immediately as well. The queen's got to guard e2, otherwise knight e2 is checkmate. If knight takes, queen h2 is checkmate. If bishop b2, yeah, I think just rook f6. Okay, there. So knight d4, so he dare not take. I'll take with the bishop, so he dare not take with the knight. Okay, so this is a nice dark square bishop anyway. So rook h6. And bring the other rook f8, rook f6, rook g6, and there's f2 here. Well, there's knight f2 is also interesting, or bishop f2, or knight f2. I think one of them. Oh, knight e4 is probably quite good, although there is knight d4. Alright, let's have the queen. Alright, thanks for the game, Chess Beast Austria. Zervech. Okay, Zervech. Thanks. I'll try and ignore this gambit. Can I just grab that light square bishop here? So I'm under pressure, huh? If I played knight f6, the e5 looks interesting actually. Queen b5, c6, queen a4, bishop d7. I'm trying to gain a tempo from the queen. I don't mind d5, it sort of gives me a better grip on e5 square. But yeah, check there, c6 protects b7. Queen a4, bishop d7. I'm kind of gained a tempo, I believe. I just want to reduce the impact of e5, essentially. It looked a bit scary. I'm trying to reduce the impact of e5. Maybe this castle queenside. Or is this too dumb? I don't know. Is my king compromised over here? Knight f6. Alright, f6 is encouraging me for a pawn storm. If he plays bishop f4, I'm going to go for a pawn storm. If he plays bishop e3, I'd, look at a7 more carefully. Actually, yeah. Maybe knight g4 here. Okay. If I play queen f7, he's got bishop h6, queen of b3. There is knight f7 on queen takes. I want to play maybe. Okay, he's hitting d6. Okay, I've got to be careful here. I was looking at my king. f5. We can nudge the bishop away, f4, away from my king. f4, knight g5. Is that winning a pawn? Queen f6, knight h7. Alright. Well, ef, knight f5. I've got another piece on d4 there. Rook e8, queen e8. It's useful maybe to have the knight there. Okay, d5 here, it gives me a resource, bishop f8 sometimes. Maybe that's worth it. Or should I just play d takes? Okay, I'm tempted, I think. So, bishop f8 and knight g8. There's b5, bishop f8. Queen moves somewhere. c5, dc. Okay. Is there a possibility of playing c4? It's not going to allow it. I'm going to lose the knight at this rate, aren't I? I think takes maybe d4. So I'm hitting the queen. If I play takes, it just takes my knight. I better blockade. Or king h. Do I have c4? I'm going to try. If takes, do I lose an entire rook? I think I might be. I've just lost the rook. Whoops. Bishop c7, maybe. Spite check. Make him lose a second. Or not bother. If I take on a4. We'll play the check. Maybe every second's crucial if I'm going to swindle it on the clock. Alright, okay. Yeah, we'll play. Cracked. I was cracked open like a walnut. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, there's only a 3-minute game. F5. Alright, what's this? Have I got Queen G5 and Knight D4 coming up? Queen G5 and knight H4, Queen G5 and knight D4. Queen G5 looks tempting. Or have I just gone into something horrible? F3 for Queen H5. If C3, F3. If CD, Queen H3. Queen F3. Alright, maybe there's another option. Knight E6 coming up. Actually, there's knight C2 for Queen H5. Isn't that? Just knight C2, rook B1, knight E3. Oh, it's a bit murky. Probably, maybe knight E6 on C3. That protects C7. Maybe I should just try and kick this knight out of D5. Right. Have I got Queen H4 here? It does threaten mate in one, doesn't it? Alright, so he's got bishop h2. Alright. I'll just win a piece instead. I think I missed that. Did I kind of missed that move. What? Oh man, I don't know. I kind of missed it. Right, can I take on G7 here? Still the exchange up. I'll take on G7. Queen G1, Queen G5. Alright, try and connect the rooks. Because otherwise he's got knight G6 coming. Because my rook would be undefended. So connecting the rooks is a good idea in general. F6 is looking plausible. Okay. So this D5. Oh, what about rook E5? Hang on, rook G7, rook E5. And he's got Queen G2, there's rook E7. Oh. Crikes. I think I have to get okay, can I breathe now? Okay. Yeah, that was exciting. Oh wow. Oh, and he's a good pre-mover. Good effort. I think I lost the plot. Yeah. I lost the plot completely there. I wasn't sure there was an attack for a while. I have researched this line a few weeks back. Tony Miles bishop b4 check, or there's a French GM with queen f6. On this occasion, I'm going to try queen f6. So if bishop g5, there's a little trap, knight f3 and queen g5. There's two ways. There's two GM paths here: bishop b4 or queen f6. Bishop b4. I have mentioned it in my Kingscrusher TV opening tango, but this is a trap. Yeah, I just take on f3. It's the first person that's actually fallen for this trap. I've known about this trap for months. It's the first time I've actually uncorked this trap in a real game. I've known about it. It's one of the funny things. Queen f6, but it has been played before. I haven't just made this up. This has been. I'm not making this up. This French GM has played this position with queen f6. I'm not making this up. I assure you, look in your databases, queen f6 against this d takes annoying. I'm not making this up. I feel as though some of you might be thinking I'm making this stuff up. I've researched this. He's played more than one game, this French GM, with this line. I think he has actually won with it. Yeah, he's won with it. I'm not making that up. And Tony Miles, of course, has won with this line, with bishop b4 check instead. Okay. Sometimes you get these anomalies when you study a particular line, like, you know, queen out early, but it makes sense in that position. Although when I was using Stockfish to analyse it, it is a struggle in that opening, I must admit, to avoid white having a clear advantage. In fact, I was spending hours, I had hours of countless fun trying to make sure that, oh, I've just lost the piece, haven't I? Oh, I've just lost the bishop back. Are you kidding me? After all that, I've just lost the bishop back. Oh man, I've just lost the bishop back. That is a major oops. Oh, crikes. Crikey. Oh, oh, the first time I uncorked this trap. Can I get the piece back with... No, I can't get the piece back. There's no way of getting the piece back. Is there a pawn for it? Have I even got a pawn? Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I'm a pawn. I've got a pawn. And my pawn here is hanging. Oh. So there's 95 coming up as well. Great. Is there queen e6 by any chance? as I was saying, it was a struggle actually to find a way to. If you analyse some of these with stuff, it's a struggle not to have a clear advantage turning up all the time for white. I don't know why. Is it because it's trying to tell me something that the whole opening is unsound? I was trying to get it to like slight advantage. I'll spend hours trying to get it to slight advantage, but I found resourceful ways to get the opening to be slight advantage when I researched it for white. I mean, I don't think I would have been able to write the book in my lifetime if I was trying for equality. So I set my ambitions a bit lower to try for just a slight advantage for whites in the lines I was looking at with black. Okay. Knight f5, g4. Isn't knight f5 kind of fun for g5 potentially? For g5, rook f3, or rook d5, or knight e3, knight e3. Whoa. Oh, I think that's a little bit annoying because he hasn't really got a common square of f8 yet, because I've got that. It's one square I've got guarded. If my pieces are doing anything in this position, they're guarding f8, even the king. So I can force rook d1, or I can win a pawn, knight c2. I'm tempted to win a pawn, because, you know, rook c1, knight e3, rook c7, there's rook d1 mating. So I control that. Okay. Rook d1 here. Maybe I'm weakening f8. I don't want to weaken f8 in a hurry. So c5 here. If I played rook f8 in this position, so I nicked a pawn just then. I was already a pawn up. I nicked another pawn. I feel very naughty nicking these pawns. There is knight c6 tactic here, because the knight's the only thing protecting that rook. Okay, I've got my pass pawns. A pass pawn potential here. 3 to 2. 3 to 2 alert. Oh, okay, I've just dropped one pawn, being silly. I think I should start pre-moving soon. 29 seconds. Yeah. Okay, that was fun, wasn't it? Oh, I wanted a quick win with that. The only time I get to play the trap, I give the piece back. That's just great. That's just funny. Okay. All right. Mexican defense move order activated. This is the threat of the London system is stronger than the London system, as Dimsovich would say. So I'm going to play c5 here because there's a threat of the London system classic move order with knight f3. London system version 1.0 has been activated, isn't it? Okay. So London system version 2.0 is 2 bishop f4. But this isn't a London system anyway. I think the great London system master will not always create the triangle by default. He's played like he has. So in a way, it is like playing, well, it's not really a London system at all now, of course. Yes, I'm excited. It's actually something in, I don't know what, King's Indian territory? What is this? Benoni? It looks okay. I mean, what's this H3 move? Is that developments? I mean, okay, maybe this is a standard position though. Or is b5? As b5, I'm wondering if Grishak's played this with b5 once upon the time in some rapid. Because white's indulged with h3. I think I've played with the white side once. I think b5 might be dangerous. Although, I do wonder if he takes that, what concretely am I doing? Is it a romantic era game with bishop a6? Just to keep his king in the centre. His king could go on the queen side. And I think I've got knight d7 to b6 to c4 later with rook b8. Okay, I think that will be entertaining if nothing else, so I'm going to play it. I assume he's going to castle queenside. I assume I'm going to play rook b8, knight to c4 later. And I'm hoping this bishop's going to be good against b2. So the common square I'm thinking about is b2, essentially. Oh, there's knight e5 to d3 if he's not doing that. Okay. Knight e5 to d3 is threatened. Queen a4, bishop d3. If he plays queen a4, I'm wondering bishop d3. Not so easy to get to the bishop. Knight e5 to d3. Right. Okay, the pressure has been put here on the position. Knight h5, bishop d4. If knight g3, rook h2, there's bishop g1 winning the rook. All right, I've let him escape. Have I let him escape? Did I really let him escape? I should have played knight h5 earlier. I did. I'll try and break open the dark squares like this. There's a check, queen e5 on g3. Knight f1, bishop f1. Oh, I'm weakening h4 with this, but my king's been compromised, and potentially the diagonal. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of giving up the dark square bishop. I just wanted to weaken h4 here. So I want to play queen e7, queen h4 concretely. So knight d4, cd, knight e2, queen e7. So if knight d4, queen h4. But he's always got rook g1 now as well. I'll let that persist, that idea, for queen h4. Okay, he hasn't got rook g1 at the moment. So if I want to play like this, I think king h8 is useful. There is knight c5 for a moment, and knight d3 maybe. That's the way I play it. Oh, there's rook b2 as well for knight d3. Rook b2. And so you can answer that with bishop c3 if rook c, there's check and mate, essentially. There's a check that out, maybe bishop c3. Rook c2, knight f5, maybe rook takes c3. Okay, so in other words, I might have just rook b2 and then queen e4, that looks good. Unless it indulges this queen sack, in which case rook c2, okay, so knight f5. No, that's winning the queen anyway, it's not mating, there's f8. Anyway, okay, so as I was saying, rook b2. Right, there's queen e4 check, then there's knight e2 discovered check. There is f6 in that position. Okay, I'm relying on f6. f6. No, it's not mating anyway. Knight e2 check, f6. Okay, all right. Okay, there's a all right. I mean, do I want to play f6 anytime soon or rook d2? I think I need to try and weaken his king. Queen f4. Nothing's easily falling off, is it? Unless king b2, knight a4. Okay. Alright, yeah, interesting. Okay, maybe I think I might have been unsound there with bishop a6, probably unsound. Unless you guys want to tell me if it wasn't unsound, I think it was. I thought it was entertainment value. Oh, you see, my play is factored into multiple dimensions: the clock situation, the entertainment value, and other stuff. I listened to an interesting podcast recently by Judith Polgar I was curious to hear her thoughts about her own sometimes unsound play, but she said it was like a dynamic combination of, she often played these moves, and the effect psychologically was people spent ages on their moves and just cracks later. So I think she was aware, from this interview I heard, that it was unsound most of the time. She was talking about how it wouldn't survive. Her play wouldn't survive that much against engines, but I think she was just acutely aware. That's why she prefers to play against humans. So she'll play unsoundly like me, but I think she just basically says it's a combination because of psychology and time management and stuff. So you can play these like surprising moves, and get an advantage on the clock sometimes, and win like that. So it kind of made me feel less bad about my own chess. That's why I'm mentioning it, because I thought, yeah, if you catch my drift, I just think I can always argue my chess now is in it's a combination of things. It's not just unsoundness. It's to do with clock management and psychology as well. You see, it's rather sophisticated combination of things. Yeah. Especially on Blitz. I mean, the clock's such a major thing, right? Although, funny enough, when I was playing David Norwood in Blitz last Sunday, he did crush me 4-1, and I was like slaughtered without any counterplay in some of those games. It was quite painful. It did make me rethink that I should start playing the London system of black. Yeah, he did make me rethink things. Okay, is that F3 or F4 here? All right, okay. Hang on, is that F takes here? He takes. I get nowhere with that, I assume, do I? I feel I'm being attacked here. This is an unpleasant feeling of being attacked. What's going on here, man? What have I done to deserve this attack? Okay. F6 for bishop F4. No, rook F4 would give me queen G4 when he's not looking, to try and get the queens off. So if he ever moves rook H8, rook F4 looks plausible. Okay, I'm holding E5 for a moment. I wonder, C6 fawn pawn installation is a fawn around the king, a fawn pawn around the king. So C6 here. Oh, I see. There's no rook H6 coming up. Get this fawn around the king. All right then. Okay, I'll take on b7 then. Okay. Rook h5, bishop e3 I can take. I think that pin's useful, rook h5. In a defensive manner. Useful. As long as I don't have to lose the rook. Okay, rook h5. I'll protect the rook with this. It's protected now, and I've eliminated the. Well, it's a bit ambitious. He has the double rooks for me to be mated on h1. Doesn't he have to double rooks first? To do that, he needs the h6 square. I think there are some practical issues here with trying to double rooks. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I was getting a bit worried there. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's either bishop b4 or knight f3. It's either queen f6 or bishop. Oh, we got this now. I've researched this as well, believe it or not. And here's another paradox. I'm going to show you yet another paradox of my research. Forget knight g6. Yeah, it's not the move. Knight c6. The knight goes back to c6 here. I've researched this. I'm not making this up. I've actually researched this opening, yeah. You can find all about it. Yeah, okay. I've researched it anyway. Because the knight's not well placed on g6. I've weakened the diagonal. I believe this position should be okay now for black after bishop c5. This is better than the knight on g6, you see. Just like the London system, you shouldn't like routinely get your triangle. You shouldn't routinely get the knight to g6. You need to know how to optimize the system based on what the opponent does. I think this is an optimization because the f4 implies the weakness of the diagonal. Going back to c6, I think, is fair enough in these circumstances, rather than being on g6. Right, so bishop g4 and knight d4. Or here. And rook e8 coming up. He's going to castle with a decent position, isn't he? He's got a decent position. Alright, yeah, no, that does sort things out for white. Oh, is that a mouse step? Doesn't look right. Okay. C5, B5 coming up. Or rook e8. Or b5. Or rook e8. Let's go rook e8. I can support the notion of b5 and queen a8 here. b5, b4, knight e4, f knight d5. There's queen a8 still for b5. King b1. Right. Okay. I can still play b5. Hang on. I think e4's gonna up. There's an overload here, surely. There's no a takes. If there's a knight takes, there's a knight takes e4. If there's a bishop takes, I take here, he takes. There's knight e4. If the queen neglects e1, there might be knight c3 check for rook e1. If I oh, crikey. Interesting. Okay, I'll try taking here then. Oh, this looks dumb. I like the knight how it is. What is the problem with my position is my rook on a5. So let me just sort out this rook, bring it back to base, even if I have to sack a pawn. He's also got knight d5 incoming, so this isn't that pleasant. Okay, there's knight f5 is here as well potentially, which supports g7. Alright, so bring this guy back, or queen comes in for e4, maybe less defensive, more on the rampage with c2. Knight e7, king h8, knight c3, queen c2. Okay, I think I go here. So he has to defend c2 at least, yeah? So queen f2, queen f2. Yeah. Alright. I wanted to bring that. And there's b5 here. Hang on. Was it just a perpetual check? Oh. Alright, there's queen c2 for rook a1. Oh, this one. Maybe knight b4. I think knight b4 is interesting. For queen or d5 or queen. Hang on, queen a8. Oh. I was getting short on time there. Yeah, that was interesting. Thanks. FIDE I know so much more about the London system now from playing against the London system of black, thanks to FIDE. I just want to say that. It's really enriched my chess experience, and I'm heavily researching, top secret, researching the London system now. Now, one of the lines I found that was painful, I think, you know, is a quick c5 and queen b6. So quick c5 and queen b6. I think this is mega annoying. Oh no, I've completely forgot. Yeah, there's a knight c3. No, it's not, is it? It's not annoying. No, there's that horrible gambit. Oh, okay. I've only just started the research on this. Damn it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. You see, I think he's a London system guru. He's not doing the triangle or anything routinely. This is the sign of a London system guru. The triangle is not the default, yeah? I mean, it is the default, but it's souped up, it's customized to what the opponent's doing, yeah? Can I use the b4 square here, out of interest? Or is that knight going to be in trouble? Is my knight going to be in trouble? It looks as though it goes back to a6 maybe. e6? Do I dare play ED here or E5? Maybe E5 and just try and get a transition to King's Indian style position. Actually, you know what? Bishop takes B5. Am I going to leave my knight stranded? If I take that, it's the knight stranded. I wonder. It probably is. Protect this guy. I don't want to leave the knight stranded to c3. So, you know, if I played like, okay, so knight h6, knight h4 here, I want to try and get onto that f4 square. So f6 and then g5 and then knight f4. Okay. Has he got knight g5? Maybe there's knight f4 there. Knight g5, knight f4. I'll play it anyway. And let's commit his... Oh, okay. I got to sort this knight out. Yeah, I'm going to give it the c5 square. Knight a6 to c5. Let him have a pawn. I'd rather sort the knight out for not being trapped. I'd rather lose the pawn and have the knight on c5, actually. The knight's pretty pathetic on b4 right now. So yeah, if I have to lose a pawn and get the knight on c5, that's fine. Or it could happen with knight a6, bishop b5, ab, knight c5. If he has to take time to win the pawn under that circumstance, I've got pressure on e4. I've got some pressure on h3 as well. Okay, what's this about? Why don't I just take here? Okay. If I take queen here. Oh, maybe I need to use the c file rather than the king side, like rook c5 double rooks. Right, which way? G takes? E takes? Maybe G takes. Rook c3 stops knight d3. Probably worth playing. Knight f3 to h4 to f5. Alright, is it worth playing f3 or not? You can't do that because of queen h3. Let's put my king over here for a moment. It's queen h3 there. Kill a common square. Yeah, thanks. An important tip for you guys, because I want you to crush all the other streamers apart from me. When you analyze, I've got 3 golden tips, right? Weakness of the last move, emerging killer common squares, and the in effect clause. And I find those 3 in conjunction with pin and win and combine and win is all you need to analyze any tactical situation. Yeah. So killer common squares, they're often winning. It's like combine and win. They're often winning because they're golden opportunities when your pieces cooperate. I just try and think about those 3 things in blitz chess, which is a big gross simplification of chess. But yeah, just to recap. So, you know, when you make a move, you're like weakening a square, like a weakened a3. So there's opportunities on that. There's opportunities on killer common squares when pieces come together. And there's, when you move a pawn, look at the effect on the entire position, what I call the in effect clause. Look at the whole position. So I just find it very, very useful recently, those 3 in particular, to emphasize, I mean, even to myself, for sharpening my own, you know, bullet or whatever, speed chess. I think I'm getting a lot of success with those 3, and pin and win I've always loved, but I've added combine and win to that, and that was, I think, a sort of combine and win. So combine and win is the same as killer common squares essentially. I just think that is quite interesting from a tactical perspective to think about. Okay, so f5, bishop g5. Of course, there's tons of positional considerations in chess. I'm just talking about in general. I found for tactical situations, I found it personally quite kind of useful. Okay, so bishop b3. So I want to, this Grand Prix attack, I want to play f5, bishop g5, and queen h4. I did, the reason that I added combine and win, which doesn't exist, pin and win exists, which rhymes, is, okay, combine and win doesn't rhyme, but I do find it does win. Yeah, so, you know, the downside, it doesn't rhyme, but the upside, when you combine, think about simply combine and win, about where the pieces cooperate, it does actually win you games. And, you know, if you do become rich and famous winning tons of games, you know, just remember me, yeah, and donate to my YouTube channel, because I've given you these amazing golden tips, free of charge here. Okay. Okay, so queen h4. I'm very open with my tips. Okay. Oh, so f6 and g4. f6, g4. I'm going to squish this bishop. So g4, I'm going to squish that bishop. I'm going to wipe out that bishop. So knight f4, bishop takes. So I'm going to play g5. And it's goodbye to the bishop. Once it goes to f8. If it went to f8, it might have come out later. But here, I think that bishop's out of the game. I don't know. There's a very strong FM in the chat here. I don't know what he thinks of my combining with. I don't know. Is it too much of a simplification, shelling, combining, or is it a useful tip? What do you reckon? Please tell me. Be honest. You can be brutal. I'll read out what you say. I just find it personally useful. I don't know, but if Shelling wants to comment or prom night, please tell me. Does it sound sensible at least? Okay. So E takes here. Alright, so this diagonal, he's trying to rip me open on this diagonal, huh? In revenge for the bishop being trapped on h8. I see, that old story. It's a revenge plot here on the diagonal. Have I got knight e4 and c4? Things are going to drop off. Things are going to drop off. All right, it's actually I think it's actually interesting the position here. I think I have to be ready to win f4 now. That's how things have turned out. I want to win f4. If there's going to be a little penalty I've associated basically with winning my pawn there. Pawn for a pawn, as they say. The bishop's still stuck on h8. Bishop's still stuck on h8. Oh, I don't mind. Or do I? Is the bishop going to crawl out in an unexpected manner here in this endgame? I don't think so. Well, maybe with h6. I've been a bit naughty. I've been a bit casual. h6, but now I've got h4 ready and waiting for h6. Okay. Please, no, not this game, please, no. I'm playing a piece up here, man. I'm playing a piece up. It's easy to lose it, though, with a mouse slip. b4 and I've lost. That's the cruelty of chess. It doesn't matter that I'm basically a piece up. Okay, I've got to win it still. King d5. Okay. King c5. King b5. I'll block the h-pawn. He has the sack, surely. Okay, I'm going to take off this bishop. Take off the pawn. Right, thanks, Gongin. Yeah, watch out for your bishops. Yeah. Prom night. Hi there. I'll try G3. I'm not convinced about the Vienna game main line at the moment. It's a bit shaky on the pawn structure. Front. Alright, am I being hacked to death? I've done this wrong. Do I play knight f6 and g4? That's a big question. So to avoid the horror of a piece sack. I'll try and neutralize a piece sack. C3, H4, is that too slow? I'm wondering H4, G4. Does he sack or does he not? I suppose I'll have to play G4. Do I? I could try and work something out. H4, G4. Okay, let's try and. To be honest, that's a relief. I'm looking at H4 thinking it's a horror show. I don't want to say it too much. It's a horror. It's a horror. It's a horror show. I've said it. I didn't want to see H4. Okay. He didn't play H4. What is going on here? I feel let off. I feel like. But no, maybe the attack's really good still. I don't know. Maybe it's really good. Okay, so bishop e3 is still dangerous. It is still dangerous. H4, G4. H4 is still dangerous. Is he doing it under more subtle circumstances? Where, okay, H4, G4. See, I tried a hack attack against David Norwood last Sunday in one of the games, and he had a knight on f3. It made all the difference, having a knight on f3 instead of e2 against that hack attack stuff. It's prophylaxis against h4. You just take on h4. There's no worry about h4, h5, h4. That whole plan is ruled out if they play an English Open and they play knight f3, that's like they're ruling out an entire blitz hack attack plan, you know. Here I'm trying to rule out at least the RAF of this diagonal, you know, as much as possible. So knight g4 here, I don't think it kills immediately anyway. Knight g4, hg, hg, king g1. I would hope it doesn't murder immediately. In fact, can I play king g1 just to have some more options there? It doesn't drop h3. If knight g4, I don't have to take on g4. Although he is on e3. I would like to play king g1 essentially. Friendly. Keeping it closed. Keeping it cozy, like a teapot. Cozy teapot. Keeping it cozy. Keeping the king cozy. Okay. Trying to keep the king cozy on this diagonal and everywhere else. Okay. Is that e4 by any chance? Now, that sort of locks out f5. I mean, can I try something over here? a4, a5, something. No, maybe that's just no good, that whole. I think I'd rather keep. I don't want to give him an outside winning pass pawn for endgames, particularly. Against f5 to be able to take or not. It was designed, engineered against f5, and he's played it anyway. Okay, isn't there queen f5 coming up? Let's check. Alright, there's no... Okay, there's e1 actually. There's e1 as an entry point. And d4's hanging. So knight e4 looks like... My pawns are on light squares. I think knight e4... Oh. Okay, maybe king takes... g5, g6, queen e6, queen e7. Whew, okay, I was a bit lucky this week. Thanks. Whew. I felt really on the defensive there because I was basically. All right. Anyway, so yeah, check out the coupon code just to recap. If you want to challenge me for a game next Sunday, or Magnus Carlsen at some point, or Piers Vidler, or other amazing grandmasters and international masters, and you know, celebrities, etc. So chess24.com/premium. Use the voucher code Kingscrusher. You get 15% off. So check that out, and there's loads of other perks of premium membership. So, okay, have a good weekend, and see you next week. Thanks so much. And if it's on YouTube, by the way, comments, questions, like, share, subscribes with the notification bell, always appreciated as well. Cheers then.